So I guess what that means is that the default is going to be to my face and not to Bobby's, which is bad for you. But that's the way it's going to be. Just I guess a heads up to everybody. We did a video on the main slate that should be up right now, actually. And this is going to be going over the afternoon slate. It starts in about an hour. It's an early lock for MLB tonight at 6:40. So we will be here about 5:40 for that, and we'll probably handle the football game as well when we do that. I don't know if Bobby's going to hang around a little bit longer. Hey, Bobby.
Hey.
So I was talking about the people show up, whatever is the schedule for later. We'll probably do 5:40, and then we've been able to get through like the baseball live stuff within like a half an hour pretty easily. So maybe we'll do the football like right after that.
Yeah,
might be a little early, but I think it's fine.
Yeah. I don't think a whole lot will change. If there's injuries, I'll be in Discord to answer any questions or thoughts about who else is playing.
It's going to be quite a disgusting game. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cleveland. You'll have Cleveland and Pittsburgh with a 38 team total with a 38 game total with 20 mile an hour wins and Brissett versus Trubisky. And it's
you may have the double defense as a pretty common build tonight.
Double defense and both Kareem Hunt and Chubb, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts on this early baseball slate? Because, okay, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do exactly, and it's hard for me to find anything that I really want to do all that much. It's interesting, the ownership, how high it is on Perez, and I really like Perez, but we're just not used to seeing that. I tried to find another pivot at pitcher, but I really think it's got to be Kirby Perez. I consider Lorenzen. And then I don't think that St. Louis just completely shits the bed again. So I kind of like the idea of going with maybe a little bit of Musgrove. You could argue for Heasley. I don't know. I just don't feel very strongly about any of these pitchers outside of the guys who are the top, projected guys. But I don't think this is like a guaranteed at Martin Perez. I like him a lot in general, but like now we're going to play him at 50% ownership. It just feels like a little weird against an Angels team that has, some decent bats in there. And they have Mike Trout in there. I don't know. I'm sort of stuck on this one. Do you have any sort of wild takes, or how are you getting different?
Eventually I do think that, maybe this is the day now that I think about it.
Easily.
So you had Flaherty, who June 26th, he, went into the injured list, and he came back with the following incredible results. First, home against Washington, 5 innings, he got a crisp 16 fantasy points. Then at Pittsburgh, good for a -0.8. And then as chalk in his last one, I played 0 of him. I forced him out. I talked all about how I lived in America. I didn't have to play Jack Flaherty, and we didn't, and he was bad. And I said, it's possible that he has back talent and whatever it is, that he just needs to come around. And looking for a slate to do it, it seems like kind of a weak pitching slate. Maybe we're just supposed to do it. I originally was going to X him out, but maybe it is the time. The always I mention is Kirby. Kirby seems to have pitch count issues. Every time I try to play Musgrove, he loses. Every time, and Martin Perez again. I guess if he's popular, I don't know. Maybe Flaherty is what I'm supposed to do. Like right now, I'm not playing them. So I figured I would just kind of try to talk it through because it is a core slate, right? So you have to figure something to do besides just playing, Kirby X and Kirby Perez in San Francisco, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm struggling with a little bit as well. I do think that Kirby Perez makes sense. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it. I think if there was a day to play Jonathan Heasley, this would be the time to do it. You got wind blowing in and cold weather. And he's been improving drastically every start. The one thing is his strikeouts aren't that great, but he's 6,100. Do we really need? Who else do we feel great about having a ton of strikeouts on this slate? I don't really feel good about anybody, to be honest with you. It's really just Kirby and Musgrove with the upside. So unless you're going to do the Kirby Musgrove together, which is also going to be really popular, I think Heasley might be my favorite to get a little bit off the board with. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't like.
It just feels weird to play Flaherty, who's has been nowhere near as good in a long time as Heasley has already been lately. And he's more expensive, and Heasley is in a much better matchup.
You know, I was going to say that I don't like playing guys off of big performances, but it wasn't like it was that big of an outlier game. I mean, 22 fantasy points. He's had games like this before. I mean, he's had and the fact that he was able to pitch 108 pitchers in a game,
mm-hmm.
How does he give up 8 hits and I guess 8 hits over 8 innings is 7 innings, not bad, but against Detroit. Also, they were up 12-2. That's why they left him in, I guess,
right,
for 108 pitches. I mean, it's probably a bad play, but there's no great plays, you know.
Right.
What do you do with Kirby? I mean, what is he going to do? What is he going to give you? I guess 85, I suppose.
Does it matter? You know what I mean? He's just so efficient, and the strikeout rate is high. You have the best one of the best 3 matchups in baseball. We can always argue over that. I think you get consistency with upside here. Sure, things could always break against him, but he's elite arm talent. Will be a top 20 pitcher in the next year or two. Maybe not that high, but top 30 anyway. He's really good. So I am playing Kirby. I can understand why it wouldn't make sense in some ways, and you could certainly argue that Musgrove might be the better play. For me, I'm going to play Kirby and probably pair him with Heasley, or I'm deciding between Heasley, Perez, and what's his name after all that, Heasley, Perez, and Musgrove. But I don't think it would be wrong to play Michael Lorenzen on the other side of the Texas. I also think Texas is stacked. You could argue either side of this one, but I'm just trying to find something a little bit different to do pitching wise, because I don't feel that we have these sure things. And I think maybe what I end up doing is probably playing Heasley, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Perez got the win over Tampa despite giving up 10 hits over 5 innings. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I do like Texas as an anti-Coors play. And again, that's what you're always looking for, is the anti-Coors play or the anti-chalk pitching play. You can't, in my opinion, you just can't play Kirby with San Francisco. I just don't think you can do it on a short slate.
What if you did it, but what if San Francisco was just your complimentary stack though?
Right. Okay. So now that's like I said. Now you got to be actually a good DFS player to come up with that, right? So yeah. So can you play Kirby with? We can't play Kirby with Musgrove, but you can play Kirby with, like you said. I think you play Kirby Hazley with X and San Francisco. That I think you could do.
Yeah. But Heasley, I'm not just saying that. I don't think it's impossible that he ends up the second highest scoring player on the slate. The Musgrove matchup. Musgrove is good. Perez is good. That matchup against St. Louis we've seen St. Louis get crushed at times, like Snell killed him last night. I don't know. I feel like that, that it's enough for me to worry. Perez can always get in trouble, and to play him as chalk, it just feels weird. So I might go with Heasley here as my SP2.
I think I like Texas.
You like Texas?
I do. I think I like Texas. And I think I like the Angels. I think I like both the hitting in this game.
Oh, you want to take? Now we're going the other way. We finally get our chalky Martin Perez.
Exactly.
Our early guy. Now we get to play against him. That's exactly. We haven't done that in a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so many times we tried to attack him with chalky hitting stacks, in the past.
It never works. Yeah.
It never works. Maybe now
it'll work. Yeah.
Maybe now it'll work.
I like Texas too, for what it's worth. I think Seattle is my favorite when you factor in ownership and everything. Followed by Texas and San Francisco. It's horrible hitting conditions, and as much as, of course, it's going to be a little rainy. It's going to be 58 degrees. You got a little wind blowing in.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, but just it's a worse enough hitting game. The problem is, and Urena does keep the ball on the ground enough.
Oh, he's the worst.
He's so bad, but I mean, you look at his, his last 5 starts, no home runs allowed. You know what I mean? That's just like it's not as always, where it just is it's automatically stacked against him. So I'm okay with I'm going to have San Francisco in players in any lineup, but I'm not absolutely not prioritizing them and they won't be a full stack in any of my lineups, period. But I do like the Seattle stack a lot for all the money. If I had to pick one stack that wins you everything, if you wanted to do a 5-man, which I'm not going to do, it would definitely be Seattle. The best hitting conditions of the day, probably on this slate, are in Oakland, which is really
wow. That doesn't happen too often.
77 degrees with 10 miles blowing out. They're like 10 degrees warm, except for they're decent-ish but it's still wind blowing in 6 miles an hour in San Diego. But the West Coast games are much warmer right now. It's that time of year, I guess. But you do have much better hitting conditions than you do the other games. So I am going to be heavy on the Seattle side of things today. That's my favorite. And I think that you play Seattle with Texas and then you use Giants as pieces, whether you want to do the value side of the Giants or whether you want to play Jock Peterson and Estrada. I think that's the way that I'm going to build today.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, actually I would say at the beginning of the day, I think I'm going to stack that first game, that LA Texas game, and just kind of and then hopefully put up a number and let them come get me with Coors an hour later. Yeah. I think that's what I'm going to do. I like the Seattle call though. And if
they let me down last night, but I like them. I still like it, even though they let me down last night. I think
here's another thing. I mean, if Flaherty is in fact like bad now, I mean, maybe we should play San Diego. That's probably the lowest owned of them all, right?
I like San Diego a lot. That would have been the other team I would have picked. So I'm completely on board with the San Diego idea.
So let's eliminate. So I don't want to. This is me. I mean, I'm talking. Yeah. I don't want to play St. Louis against Musgrove. I want to play Seattle. Do I want to play Oakland? You told me that Oakland's the top hitting weather, right?
I mean, just because it's 77 degrees with the wind blowing out, but it doesn't.
Oh no, it's against Kirby. I don't want to do that. Okay,
against Kirby, it's gonna be tough.
I don't want to play Coors. Forget that. I don't want to. Let's double check. I don't want to play.
But you don't have to
want to play. Does anybody want to play Brebbia or no? No. Okay. Oh my God, he can't get out. He can't do anything. Well, one inning. That's always doing.
No. He's an opener. Yeah,
he's an opener because you don't want to play that. I'm just eliminating stuff. I don't want to play Coors. I just don't want to. I'll finally capitulate and play Coors, and they'll get rained out. That's what will end up happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And they play through freaking everything, and when I play them, they're gonna get rained out.
Right. And they've got an all-day thing. Right. Go ahead.
I like Heasley, and I guess you have to kind of like the hitting in this game too. No.
I mean,
what's Winder done? He's giving up some runs.
Oh yeah, it's just an ugly weather thing. Other than that,
weather's bad too. Right.
It was a game naturally that I kind of wanted to go to. 60 degrees with 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from center. It's just I would rather take the other shots when you're not really getting an ownership discount of any kind on these guys. Personally, I'm going the other way. I'm going to play.
So this is what it's going to be. It's going to be Angels. It's going to be Texas. This is for me. Angels, Texas, Seattle, and I'm going to think about San Diego as well. That's going to be the hitting, and the pitching. I'll bite. I'll bite. I'll take a shot with the Heasley, maybe, and I'm going to go Musgrove over Flaherty, and then I guess just eat the chalk with Kirby. I suppose. From that, man. Hopefully, if I don't play Coors, that's good enough. I guess that. Yeah, Kirby Heasley's reasonable. We talked about this. Okay. And like I said, and San Francisco, they could still, they put up you get a good 3-man stack, then Bobby will win. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm literally like 100 away from having the exact build I want, which is I don't mind the 3 Giants. I'm doing a 3-3-2 with Texas, San Francisco, and Seattle in my main lineup, and I can't quite get the exact bats I want, and it's kind of frustrating me because I wanted to. Go ahead.
What's wrong with Colorado?
Nothing. It's a bullpen game. I think that everybody I'll treat Colorado the same way I'll treat San Francisco. At their ownership, they can fill in pieces for me. There's the guys I like on Colorado. I like Toglia for a value play. Montero as a value play at 3,300. McMahon as just a raw play. Grichuk is probably too cheap bet and clean up at 4,100. All of these guys I'd filter in, but I'm not personally finding the need to fully stack the Colorado, especially they're going to be lower owned than San Francisco, but they're not going to be unowned at all.
Right.
So I would rather, I guess, I find something else to do for lack of a better way of putting it. Yeah, I can't quite get it. I'm just frustrated because I really wanted to get this build exactly how I thought I could get it exactly how I wanted, and it's not looking like that's going to be the case, unfortunately. So it's a little frustrating. But I do really like the if there's any bat that that you try to prioritize, I think that from the San Francisco game, it would be Jock. For me, Jock or Yastrzemski, but I think Jock is the better play. It's just he's the one expensive guy. It's a little harder to get in unless you do some other things, but you can do some other things. So it's not that hard. I just wish they made Vossler 2,400 and VR 2,500. And if they were 2,300, I could have the exact build, or if Jock was 5,400, I could have the exact build I'm looking for. But yeah. And there's some weather concern in that game. Like you said, maybe something weird does happen today and those storms just keep coming or whatever. I don't know. Maybe halfway through the game, it's a 3-hour break and there's a delay and you totally, San Francisco does what they do. They flip their whole lineup around.
Right. Yep.
But to answer the question from Mike in chat, my favorite stack outside of Coors is Seattle, and San Diego would be the next one for me with Texas. But I like Texas more as a minier stack. But I think they're fine as a full stack. I just those are the teams I'm using mostly, and then I'm just filtering in San Francisco and Colorado.
So you think that KC Minnesota game is risk of postponement? Probably not,
right? No, I don't think does that game even have? I don't think that game's got. I don't have any real worries about that one.
Oh, okay. I thought you didn't like the weather in that game.
No, the Colorado game.
Oh, okay.
It's an ugly day there. I mean, it's really like nasty, but in Kansas City, but it just seems like a weird. I don't know. It's good pitching weather for what it's worth. It's just that's all I could say. It doesn't look like it. That's what it is. And I was trying to think: is there any way we can play these other guys? I just don't want to do it. Like. Whether it's Winder, we don't even have a pitcher for KC yet, do we?
Hazley.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I'm doing. I do want to play Hazley. Sorry, I changed my mind. Skip what I was saying. I lost my train of thought as I was trying to build here. But I like Hazley and Kirby as my pairing, and I'm going to do that. San Francisco, Seattle, Texas.
I like it. Stack. I like it.
That's my way. The Twins. Again, Twins. Horrible hitting conditions. I initially thought I was going to be much more on them. If I was going to play them, it would be Miranda, Nick Gordon. You can always throw Correa in as the high price guy, but I would have no problem. But I'm playing Hazley against them personally, so
right,
you have to be a little bit, there. Joe Musgrove, you can run a 3-man stack like you're asking about. I don't think that you necessarily need to. There's a lot of other ways to get different on this slate, like just playing the Padres even is going to be low enough. But you are going to get no ownership on those guys. So maybe if you're playing the lottery, that would be a good way you can go. I don't mind that. And who's catching for Colorado? Let me check real quick. It is Servin. Okay. Yeah. That allows me to do what I want to do, but it doesn't give me what I want exactly, but whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's pretty straightforward. Ways you can get different. And again, maybe you're not getting different enough, but I like I just really like Seattle today. I think that's the stack that I'm definitely the highest on. So.
Seattle, Texas, Angels. Yeah, I like.
Yeah. So let's do this. And then I've got this kid, Vossler. All right. Boy, it's going to really piss me off if Joey Bart hits a home run, though, because I'm just doing a 1v1 swap that's allowing me to get what I want, and I'm playing Servin instead of Joey Bart.
Joey Bart, I'm not worried too much about that. But
hey, he's got power, man.
Yeah?
He's got some serious power. I don't know when it'll come to fruition from him, but he's he's going to be a guy who hits 30 home runs in this league at some point if he can ever actually learn how to catch. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this slate that I've got. Anything else that you've got that we haven't talked about? Let's see. There's a few questions or thoughts in chat. Top pitchers.
I'm going to change my big buy-in. I'm going to say same as yours. I'm not going to be the same as yours, but let's just say we have the same ideas. About where to go with it.
To answer the question about my favorite pitchers.
Oh, Crawford is out. I did not know that.
No, he's in the lineup, isn't he?
No.
He's batting 5th.
I have him out on the DraftKings app.
I'm looking at the lineup right now. It says Brandon Crawford batting 5th.
No. For Seattle.
For Seattle.
JP Crawford.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't play that much anymore.
Oh, I had him in.
It's sort of in and out of the lineup a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But Clinic at 2K also in there. Oh, just lose more money on that guy. But my favorite pitchers are the best pitchers are I think Kirby, some Kirby, Perez or not McCullers, Musgrove are the logical answers. I am going to play Heasley with Kirby in my biggest buy-in. That's my answer pitching.
I like that.
Flaherty, I again, it feels like we're just chasing a thing that wasn't even really a thing. Like,
yeah, that's pretty interesting the way you put that.
Yeah, like Michael Wacha 10 years ago for 1 year was the greatest pitcher in the history of baseball, and now, like, I don't know. We're not trying to. I don't know. I don't know what he is. I don't know whether Flaherty is all this that they want him to be. There's a lot of talk about him.
Who's that dude in Arizona who's good for like 2 years? Brandon Webb, is that his name? Something like that.
I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, Brandon Webb was like the greatest pitcher ever for like 2 years, and he hurt himself, and that was it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a fun slate. I do think that I really think that this is a day where Seattle could explode. So just want to keep reiterating that one because I do like this
Texas
situation.
Angels, obviously the usual leaving money on the table for me, and yeah, I'm playing like 30. I'll play 30, whatever. I got 40% easily. Let's go.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, here are other guys that are out. So San Francisco guys. So wait, why do I not have any of these guys? So Toro, Flores, these are like all these guys that I thought were playing or not playing.
Yeah, it's pretty. They just do this. I mean, it's just their normal thing. Like I'm always ready for. It's basically the lineup I thought they'd run out today, but it wasn't. It's always just a guess to me with them. Yeah, I mean, the lineup in order is Wade, Yastrzemski, Estrada, Peterson, Crawford, VR, Vossler, Luis Gonzalez, Bart.
When are those games? When is that game?
Games at 3 Eastern.
So I got to get that moving. Okay. I mean, like, I can't wait that long before I update that. Okay.
Right.
All right. I guess I'm going to get going then. I'll be back. We'll be back live at 5:40.
Yep.
Where we'll do the baseball and the football. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that'll do it.
All right. Good luck to everybody.